Hello viewers and welcome to UNN. I would like to welcome you today on this program, special program called Faith Matters. And in this program, it's dedicated to bringing you an exciting or news concerning faith outside of religion. Mbaniriza mwenna kanzire mu Lugangereza nti mbaniriza ku programu eyo mwenna abatuwuliriza ensi yonna. Programu gye bayita Faith Matters nga okutuusibwako UNN. Mu programu eno tubatuusaako different things, amawulire agakwatagana ku faith oba ku nzikiriza naye nga tekwatagana na ddiini. Mu programu eno tetwogera ku ddiini, tetuba invitinga mu church oba kubatwala mu kifo kyonna nti oba kusinza katonda gundi oba katonda gundi, nedda. It's just completely called Faith Matters. Today we're going to learn something new, something really interesting. It is a personal kind of touch, how God can use trivial things. Mukama bwayinza okukozesa obuntuntu obuli awo abantu obuli awo bwe balinyoomye, naye ate katonda n'ayogera naawe ng'akozesa ekintu ekiri awo toyinza okunyooma, oba jjinja oba kiswa oba muti, oba n'akuwa message ng'eyita mu kintu gwe tolaba nti kya muzannyo. Now in this episode tugenda kuddayo tufuuke abaana abato, tugenda kuddayo eri emabega, tetugenda kubeera nnyo serious. Tugenda kuddayo eri emabega eri nga tuli mu myaka 2, 3, 4, 5 awo nga tukyali bato, tugenda kwejjukiza obuto bwaffe. Kati mu programu eno tugenda kukyalira cartoon ze bayita Tom and Jerry. Abasinga kumwe Tom and Jerry mumanyi, gwe njogera ku Tom and Jerry mwamulabako oba seki abaana bamwe bamulabako. So in this episode, Tom and Jerry teaches us something interesting about God. It's a classic American cartoon compilation of a cat and mouse rivalry created in 1940 by Hanna and Joseph Barbera, a series of animated short films. I really enjoyed watching this when I was a kid. I still do, by the way. It kind of like excites the kid out of me. And then sometimes I wish I was a kid again. But just to let you know, something just on the other side, something to note. Tom and Jerry aren't supposed to be taken seriously. My name is Prince Jim, and welcome to UNN, and this is Faith Matters. So, how do we relate to cartoons? How do we relate to Tom and Jerry? So I'm going to introduce you to the team of these guys. It's a family of little animals called Tom and Jerry. But they also have a friend. They used to live in a country called Hanna-Barbera. Bainensi yawe gye baali babeeramu nga bagiyita Hanna-Barbera Film Production, nga bagibeeramu abantu basatu. Kati mu maaso awo kati we tujja kati eddakiika eno ngenda balaga family eyo oba team eri ku center ya show yaffe tugenda mu maaso ne next slide okuli team. Meet the team. I can imagine someone out there is already laughing. Unfortunately, in certain areas of the world, I really wanted this show to be a certificate tour where they could just enjoy and have fun. Normally, to so serious movie, very political, out of place. But for this show, I really intended, UNN really intended that everybody enjoys. It's supposed to be, we're going to be kids again. Makati, the first guy you down there, I'll start with the tiny guy. The tiny guy is called Tom. Jerry, the tiny guy. He's got a book. He's got a scroll. Now, the next guy, Tom, agezaako kumu interrupting. So Tom is a rival to Jerry. Now the other guy, the third one, is Pike, or Spike. Kati Spike ye mukuumaddembe yagezaako okutaasa olutalo wakati w'abaana ababiri. These two were really good rivals, and they were always fighting. But Spike, the bulldog, akutte baseball bat, was always the peacemaker to come to. Now, in this country, they used to live. Baali balina constitution. Constitution eyo erimu just one word, ng'erimu ekigambo kimu kyokka. Actually, ebigambo bibiri. Ng'erimu ebigambo bibiri. Constitution eyo. Naye naba kubatuusa ku constitution eyo ndowooza tugenda kutwalamu ka break katono. Tusobole connecting waliwo kind of like a challenge, a technical issue yetufunyeemu katono tulabe ngeri ki gye tuyinza okugitereezaamu. Temuvaako.
Att du som bor inom mig är mycket starkare än allt som jag möter här. Jag ser inte mer tillbaks nu. Jag sträcker mig mot allt det du har för mig. Jag vet att du som bor inom mig är mycket starkare än allt som jag möter här. Jag ser inte ner till bakslut. Jag sträcker dig mot allt det du har för mig. Jag vet att du
mukulikeyo muka break aka katono kati timu mazoga ka story egenda mu maaso. Tumaze okulaba Spike, tumaze okulaba Tom, ate tumaze okulaba Jerry. Ngenda kubannyonnyola Jerry kyakutte mu ngalo kitegeeza ki. Katugenda ku step yaffe ku slide yaffe endala eddako tusobole okulaba ate story engeri gyetambulamu ey'abantu bano abasatu. Yali teribuusa one day the dog catcher najja n'akwata Spike n'amuteeka mu mitayimbwa. Spike n'abeera munakuwavu nnyo nga tamanyi kyakola. Kakati bwe bamuteeka mu mitayimbwa wano awaddako we tugenda kati essaawa zino, omuntu eyasobola okumununula oba the person who came to the rescue got captured was no other but Jerry. So let's go next and see what Jerry did to try to rescue Spike. So Jerry gets into the lock. Jerry n'ayingira mu rock. Spike n'amulagira n'amuga wennyini awo wennyini woba okwata we wali lock. So Jerry rescues Spike and Spike jumps out of the truck, the dog catcher, n'adduka. Kati leka tugende awaddako ate tulabe exactly what happened next. So Jerry bwe yamala okununula Spike tubiza n'amusuubiza n'amugamba nti now you have rescued me, here's the agreement. Anytime you get into problems, just whistle. Muyinza okuba munotisinze nti theme yaffe y'olunaku olwaleero, theme ya show olwaleero eriko ekigambo nti just whistle. Bwefuwa bufuwa kawa ompite, ekyo kijja kuntegeeza nti you are in trouble, and then I'll come and deal with your problems. So akantu kali kemwalabye Tom asoma Jerry, sorry, I keep confusing them. It was a long time ago since I was a kid, but I'm trying to get back to my child stories. So Jerry, the guy you see here in brown, was reading a constitution of their gods. And there's only one word there. There's nothing much, just whistle. So what comes next? What happened next? Let's go and see what exactly happened next. Tom hears about the agreement between Jerry and Spike. Tom n'abeera upset nnyo n'agamba nti okay, we shall see, let the party begin. Tom ne mpulira ennaku zino e Uganda bakiyita kwepikira. Tom n'atandika okwepikira Jerry n'agamba nti okay, you've made an agreement with Spike behind my back. Okay, we shall see what happens next. Katulabe kiki ekyaddirira. What happened next? Let's go and see. After the break, we are going to take a quick break right now. After the break, then we will see exactly what happened between those three. So let's take a quick break. Don't go away. I will be back.
Mambo sawa sawa, Yesu akiwa enzini. Mambo sawa sawa, mambo sawa sawa, mambo sawa sawa.
Sawa sawa, mambo sawa sawa, sawa sawa, mambo sawa sawa.
kisha mambo yote sawa, mambo sawa sawa.
When the Lord is on the cross, things are already better. Things are already better. Things are already better. Already better.
Mambo sawa sawa, mambo sawa sawa. Yesu akiwa enjini, mambo sawa sawa, mambo sawa sawa, mambo sawa sawa. Mambo sawa sawa, mambo sawa sawa. Yesu akiwa enjini, mambo sawa sawa, mambo sawa sawa, mambo sawa sawa. Mambo sawa sawa, mambo sawa sawa. Yesu akiwa enjini, mambo sawa sawa, mambo sawa sawa, mambo sawa sawa. Mambo sawa sawa, mambo sawa sawa. Yesu akiwa enjini, mambo sawa sawa, mambo sawa sawa, mambo sawa sawa. Mambo!
Wow. Welcome back. Mukulikeyo. Mambo sawa sawa. Kigambo kya Luswahili nti buli kimu kigenda kubeera bulungi. Everything is going to be all right. Everything is going to be perfect. Now that we have a constitution that says just whistle, I will just whistle. Nga mukwano gwange ajja okunyamba. Everything is going to be all right. Kati mmwe ababadde beebase muzuukuke oba muzukuse bannammwe mubagambe nti mambo sawa, it's going to be all right. UNN is alive and is well and alive. So people are not going to forgive you if you don't wake them up. So what came next? Tom smells something. Tom unjali muruma. Tom is hungry. He's got a dinner plate, as you can see, and smells something. So what is it that he's smelling? So let's go and see what comes next. What is it that Tom is smelling? And no other but Jerry. Jerry is in trouble. Jerry is in very big trouble. Kati Tom is hunting Jerry. The cat is hunting the mouse. Now, guess what? Kiki kyolaba mu kifuba kya Tom. Alina ne apron. Are you ready? He's ready to have some dinner or some lunch, depending on what the time of day was. But it looks like it was still daylight. So let's go and see what happened next. Let's go and see what happened next. Tom is saying, I got you. Doesn't matter where you run to, I got you. So, guess what? You of grapes on the head by Tom, ready to grab Jerry and turn him into dinner. Jerry again afuka dinner. Now, what happens? What comes next? Let's see. Let's move on and see. Oh dear. Oh dear. That's a fork and a knife about to slice. Tell your kids not to try this at home. I told you some things in Tom and Jerry aren't supposed to be taken seriously. It's just, today we're just having fun at the expense of Jerry. We're allowed to have fun at the expense of Jerry. So what happened next? Let's go and see what happens next. Jerry remembers the Constitution. It says just whistle. And so he remembers, and then he begins to whistle. N'atandika okufuulwa nga luno olw'abalaalo abalunda ente oba mwali muluwuliddeko those balaalo nga balunda ente ne batandika akagezaako nga nkyali muto ne kanuma. So I really wanted to like, but I couldn't. So you can see the green olives either side, and Jerry is really in trouble. But his only tool is to remember and then do the act. Not only remembering, but also do the act and go ahead and whistle. So what happens next? Let's go and see what happens next. Spike hears the whistle and shows up and grabs Tom by the neck. He ruins his dinner. Spike ruins Tom's party big time. As you can see, the plates are now empty. I mean, the sandwich is empty. Jerry is about to move off, to scot off. So let's see what happens next. What happens next? Spike checks with his pal, his little friend, and says, "Is everything okay now, Jerry?" And in the meantime, Tom cannot breathe. The apron is gone, the dinner plate is gone, the fork is gone, everything is gone. He's still hungry, in fact, hungrier than he was when the film started. So what happens next? Let's go and see what happens next. What happens next is that Spike promises Tom that next time you try to touch my little pal, Jerry, we shall crush. We shall crush. We're going to crush you. Now, gwali mu nsonda wali totandika kuddawo okumbuuza nti ekigambo crush kyavuga ati nze manyi nti Spike yekyogera. He says we shall crush. Era n'akola ne demonstration n'anyiga omutwe gwa Jerry. Jerry n'afuuka gwa Tom n'afuuka accordion. N'abeera mupenyi nnyo. So what happens next? What is Jerry doing in the meantime? So let's see what Jerry is doing right now. Jerry is, you guessed right. In the next slide, you'll see what Jerry is doing. What is Jerry doing right now? Let's see. Jerry is celebrating. I think we missed a step there. Jerry is celebrating and is saying that, touch me not next time. Please try not to touch me. I have a big friend here who will crush you. Now, the dinner is all his to enjoy. The dinner is his. I don't know whether he's going to finish it. The dinner plus the green olives now belongs to Jerry. So we're going to take a little quick break, another quick break there, and celebrate with Jerry. We will be back. Don't go away. Call somebody out there and say, come to you, and then don't go away.
som bor inom mig är mycket starkare än allt som jag möter här. Jag ser inte mer tillbaks nu. Jag sträcker mig mot allt det du har för mig. Jag vet att du som bor inom mig är mycket starkare än allt som jag möter här. Jag ser inte mer tillbaks nu. Jag sträcker mig mot allt det du har för mig. Jag vet att du som bor inom mig är mycket starkare. All ära till dig, Jesus, du är värd min lovsång. Jag ger dig mitt liv, mitt allt, vill leva helt överlåten till dig. All ära till dig, Jesus, du är värd min lovsång. Jag ger dig mitt liv, mitt allt, vill leva helt överlåten till dig.
If you hear a Muganda talk Finga Baganda, you know he's an enemy of Baganda, number one. And secondly, an enemy of Uganda and an enemy of Africa. And we shall crush those enemies as we have done in the past. Yeah. You preach your nonsense, we shall answer you by word. And if you go beyond word and want something else, you also get it. This is not the first time.
Welcome back. Mukulikeyo nnyo mu kabreaka ako, munsonyiweko kadde kawanvu, naye waliwo bye mbadde ngezaako okunoonya wano. Okay, welcome. So, Tom finds Candy. Bamaze omusuza Jerry. So he finds Candy. He's always looking to put in his mouth. He never fails. So he finds something. He finds candy and begins to enjoy himself, to have fun. There's something that I want you to notice in this image. What is the color of the candy Tom is eating? Kale mugitunuulire ya candy. Tugende next tulabe kiki ekyaddirira nga Tom atandise okulya candy. Ku next slide tulabe kiki ekyaddako. Kakati Tom nga atandise okulya candy, somehow amawulire ne gatuuka ku Jerry nti Tom alina candy. So Jerry came to investigate to see what is it that is keeping Tom busy today. The salivas are coming out, and Jerry is really now beginning to get into it. He's sniffing around, wondering, how lucky it is Tom to have something nice like that. Okay, so what happens next? Let's go. Tom decides to be generous. Tom says, hey, I can share. You like it? I can share. Now, what is interesting is that, did you notice the color of candy that Tom was eating and the color of candy he's offering to Jerry? Waliwo enjawulo wakati wa color Tom candy gye yali alya ate ne candy gy'agezaako offeringa Jerry nti I can share a few today. So let's go. What happens next? What happens? Let's see. So Tom decides to share, and Jerry's wondering, why is Tom being so generous? And this guy is saying, no, come on, no, there's no catch to this. Just go ahead and eat. But in the meantime, see what's happening. Jerry amaze okufuna candy oli owa yellow ajjudde. I was not supposed to mention the color anyway. Sorry, that's the color. Anyway, Jawadde Jerry. So what happens next? Let's see what happens next. So Jerry swallows the yellow candy, and the yellow candy fills up amatama ge gonna ne gajjula nga takyasobola na kwogera. Tom n'alaga, kati Tom atandise okulaga his true colors. N'agamba, oh, you can't whistle anymore. So when Jerry realized that he's in trouble, he started to whistle. But because the yellow candy is full in his mouth, the guy cannot whistle. Now, the question is, why did Jerry not realize the difference in color between the color that is being offered, the candy, and the one that Tom was having fun with? Teyasobola ekyo kitegeera oba teyasobola kifumiitiriza ye yamaliriza amize candy eri. Nawo ngenda babbira ebibuuzo. ngenda babbira ku bibuuzo. Kano ka candy aka yellow Tom yali amaze okukanyika mu glue oba mu gum nga kali sticky. So that's exactly what happened. And so not only was it bigger than Jerry, what Jerry could handle, but it was also sticky. It had been dipped in a gum, in a sticky gum, and that was yellow. And now Tom, bwe yalaba nga Jerry ali mu trouble, n'agamba, now it's my turn. I'm going to turn like a brick and see what happens. So what happened next? Let's go. Remember, you are looking at a story that says Just Whistle on UNN with the protagonists Tom, Jerry, and Spike. So Tom allows Jerry to go to Spike alope. Namugamba nti, but Spike amubuuza nti, what's wrong? Jerry amatama gazimbye akaaba tamanyi kyakola agezaako okubuulira Spike exactly what happened. As you can see, amaaso ga Spike, he's looking empathetic, atunula concerned, alaba mukwano gwe ali mu bulumi ate tasobola kwogera. Kati Spike namugamba, naye you remember that concept we wrote, that agreement. I cannot understand what you say. You are a mouse, a dog. You are trying to say something I can't understand, but the only language I can understand is to whistle. Just to whistle. You go away. When you learn to whistle again, I'll show up. So they have an agreement, but the agreement cannot be implemented unless the terms of agreement are being adhered to. Kati Spike agamba nti amaanyi ngalina agakuyamba naye unless you find that constitution, remember what I said, just whistle. So what happens next? Let's go. Tom n'atandika okusekerera Jerry. Namugamba, nothing much you can do. You are in very, very big trouble. I'm going to have to do you in, You are going to be dinner again. There's nothing much you can do. So Jerry didn't give up. He kept trying. As you can see, his face turns red, and he's really, really, really desperate. Really desperate. Now, what happens next? Let's go. Let's go. What happens next? Jerry keeps trying, and basically, right now, he's praying in his heart. He's praying in his heart. Now, why lwaki nsonga lwaki tuswitchinze ku slide eno? Tugenda kuva mu story ya cartoon elite atukomewo mu story yaffe abantu, human beings, we humans, nga twerabidde Tom and Jerry. Sometimes we find ourselves in problems, in trouble. Kakati ng'omwami oyo, the guy is isolated. He's on a hill, okalwe mu kifo ekiri deserted, ekiri surrounded. I don't know how he got there, but he did. He can't find his way, and the only thing that he can do now is to try to pray and to remember God and to remember that there is a God in heaven who can help him. Now, we are going to go to our next break, a little break. And in this break, I need you guys to reflect that Uganda is your Jerry right now. Uganda is in trouble and is trying to figure out how I can get out of this trouble. And Uganda, in many cases, has remembered God and begins to pray, to try to okujjukira constitution kiki kye bamusomesa okuva mu buto nikyalina okukola. Now, when I talk about Uganda, I'm not talking about trees, I'm not talking about mountains, I'm not talking about goats or cows, I'm talking about people. I'm talking about people ababeera Uganda, ababeera America nga muli Uganda, ababeera Yugoslavia nga muli Uganda. You may have noticed that our background music is actually not in Uganda. This time, we've dedicated this show not only to the kids, but also to our friends in the Scandinavia mostly. I love you guys, and the songs, you could probably relate to the lyrics in the background, I mean to the song, gye bayimba mu background nti erina kyetegeeza nti Spike ne Tom tebasobola kutegeeragana naye balina we bayinza okugattaganira nti ekigambo ekigamba nti just whistle, kubanga ekigambo whistle tekiriko lulimi. You can whistle in Lugbara, you can whistle in Ankole, in Acholi, you can whistle in any language and it will be heard. So we're going to go in this next break and we're going to hear what Daniel did when his nation was in trouble and he needed God time. So let's go. Don't go away. Stay tuned to UNN. When we come back, we'll see what happened next.
Yet we have sinned, turned away from your ways. Yes, we have sinned, walked away from your ways. We have not listened to your servants. We have not listened Now, oh Lord, hear our prayers, hear our cry. Oh Lord, open your eyes and see our desolation. We do not pray because we are righteous, oh Lord, but because of your great mercy, we pray, oh Lord, listen, oh Lord, hear and act for your sake. Do not delay, oh Lord. Hear our cry for me. Bear your name. We do not pray because we are righteous, oh Lord, but because of your great mercy, we pray, oh Lord, listen. Hear our cries for me. Bear your name, oh Lord. Hear our cry. Make us Christians, make us Christians, make us like you, Jesus.
Great. Mukulike bannange, welcome back. It's all about prayer. It's all about, it doesn't matter which language you pray in or which religion you are, which faith you are. God will always hear you where you are. Mukama ajja kuwulira, tajja ku abandoninga. God is your creator. Ajja kusobola okuwulira ekyo ky'oyitamu. Don't give up. don't give up. So Jerry didn't give up. So let's see what Jerry did next. Let's see what Jerry did next. Jerry Taylor giving up. He didn't give up. Things were really tough, but he carried on. And as he began to make progress, his efforts were really tough. But Spike knew that Jerry needs to learn a lesson here. I'm not going to just help you, but just do your best. Try your best and do the right thing. So what happened next? So you can see he's blowing, his face is red, and suddenly the bubble gum begins to come out. So at some point, the bubble begins to come out. And he's really done his best. He's struggling, but he's giving up. It's not it's a matter of life and death. If he doesn't try hard enough, if he's not good enough, he's gonna die. He's gonna become dinner. Jerry, Tom again, Mumala. So he's gonna have to try. So what comes next? The bubble bursts. But the bang was so loud when that happened that I can't say the tables are turning. The tables are turning. Now, Tom is on his knees. Now, the question: what do you think Tom is trying to do there? Is he trying to mock Jerry? Mocking okay, pray. Let's see how your God is going to come around and help you. Oba yesabira yeka olwokuba the bubble was the bang loud until it was followed up by a very high-pitched whistle. Any moment from now, Spike is gonna show up because the thing has nothing. The bubble gum he ate, the thing that he ate, is no longer yellow anymore. His mouth, it has burst. Let's see what happens next. Let's see what happens next. To have exactly how the story goes. The story has got a very fantastic ending. Now, what is happening now is Tom has realized the tables are turning, the bubble gum has just burst open, and a loud shriek or a loud whistle that Jerry has just let out. And any moment from now, atandise okwesimira obunya. Ekyo bayita okwesimira obunya. Okwesimira entaana. He is now saying his last prayer because he knows he was promised that the next time you do that, we're going to crash. We're going to crush you. You remember? That's what Spike promised him. Kenadamu okuwuliranga Jerry akaaba, we're going to crash. By the way, the color of his eyes as he digs the grave. Anyway, I keep talking about colors. I really don't like to talk about colors. Anyway, let's go ahead and see what happened next. Let's go ahead and see what happens next. Toma Mazoku Mirentana. So he's dug his grave. He knows that any moment from now he's going to be crushed. So he better makes it easier for everybody, including Spike. Nti bwebalaba bamaze okumutta basayinga yesibidde etaana yegulidde nekimu nejjira ataddeko ne will akoze. But in the meantime, he's thinking about what Spike is going to do. He's thinking that, oh my God, let his will be done. Let Spike's will be done. He's going to crush me, so let his will be done. But signed my will, kati ebyobugaga byange. By the way, who was the beneficiary? Who do you think is going to take over Jerry's estate? Ani agenda okutwala ebyobugaga bya nga Tom afudde? Mumbulireko. Please, mumbulireko abamanyi ani agenda okutwala ebyobugaga ya Jerry. Anyway, Sija Barbie Sayo, I know you guys are desperate to know exactly how the story ends. I don't know but oh, let's see. Guess what happens next? Oh, the dog catcher shows up just in time. Oh my God, that's bad news. Dog catcher shows up, and guess who's in the back of that truck? Let's see what happens next. Spike is grabbed again. Again. Just in time when the bubble bursts. Spike is grabbed, is in the grave waiting for his death, and there's a yellow padlock at the back of the truck in a yellow cage, and Spike is being loaded off. Oh dear Lord. It can't get any worse than that, can it? Can't it? But it's what happens next that is really the most interesting part of the story. The story turns, twists. Guess what? Jerry, you see there the tiny little brown thing in the middle, begins to realize that his friend is being taken. So Jerry begins to run after the truck. Kakati, interestingly, Tom amaze okutegeragana ne Jerry amugamba nti no, this is too much. Now we become a team. We cannot exist without Spike. Spike is the guy who's been keeping order here. Nze abadde keep checking angezaako okunyiginya oba okutulugunya ate naawe abadde agezaako okubuulira olekeraawo okunjooga. So we're going to have to team up and run after and help him. Now, what do we learn from this? Now we've come to the end of our story, but there's some few points that before we're gonna dwell a little bit slide. We're gonna spend a few minutes on this slide. There's something that I want us to see. What I want us to see here is this, that the word is very near us. Katonda in the Torah, oba mu bigambo byatuwa, right from the beginning, before religion set in, before religion came along, God said something. He said in Deuteronomy, this is Deuteronomy, this is in the Torah, this is in the Old Testament, the Christians Jevaita Old Testament, our Hebrew Jevaita Torah, oba abasiramu Jevaita Orat. Deuteronomy, the word is very near you. It's in your mouth. You don't need to go through a third party to make God your problems, to make God understand your issues. You don't need to go through almighty prophet or some almighty priest or bishop or something for God to hear you. He can hear you in your room, in your closet. Can hear you in your trouble. God can hear you in the jungle. God can hear you in the forest. God can hear you. Bible egamba nti ne bw'onobeera mu nnyanja ajja kuwulira, ajja kubeera. Even when you go through the fire, that fire will not scorch you because he will be there. All you need to do is to use your mouth and call upon him. By the way, there is no pattern. There's no set of rules how you must pray. You're going to have to learn to talk to God, friend. I never created myself. You are the one who created me. I remember there's a time when I was really, really in a bad shape. I was very ill. I didn't know that I'm going to survive. And then one of the doctors came to me and said, Jim, have you ever thought about terminating your life and just say, enough is enough, I'm done? And then I looked at him and I said in a very low voice, because I was really feeling weak, I told him that, look, I never created me. I don't have the authority to take my life either, but I know someone who can fix it. I know that all I've got to do is talk to him to fix it. This story really is just telling us something, that just whistle. Just whistle. It doesn't matter which language you speak. It doesn't matter which church you've been to. It doesn't matter what your background has been. God says just whistle. Now, the question comes to mind. I keep telling people that in this show, in this program, we never invite anyone to a religion. We never anyone to a church or anything. This is not a denomination. This is not an invitation to a faith group. This is just an invitation to have a faith relationship with yourself and God. It doesn't matter which language you want to speak to your God in that language. Mukama language yakuwa. One day there was a story, I think it was in the 7th or 8th, I think it was in the 6th century, 7th century there, where the Prophet Muhammad, God bless, that's what Muslims say, was beginning to explore who God is. And it is documented in the Quran, Ayah Yunus, or Ayah Yunus 10:94. You can write it if you want to. 10:94, Ayah Yunus in the Quran. Nga bamubuuza bamugamba nti, if you are in doubt about what we have spoken to or what we have revealed, and though ask those who has gone before you, who has been reading the book. Which book is that? Before any religion existed, there was a book, or there is a book that existed before. It's the Torah, it's the law that was given to humans, over to man, Mount Sinai, Jabal Musa, or Jabal al-Lawz, olusozi olusangibwa mu western Saudi Arabia, a place called Yan. That's where the Torah was revealed, and these words existed there in that Torah or Torah. You can go ahead and read it. Basically, the reason why I'm telling you this story is it's very, very simple. God has abandoned you in the situation you're in, but all God is looking for build the character in you to try hard enough, not according to what someone else has told you, naye okusinziira ku ye kyakusomesa oba kyakusomeseza. Now, if you haven't come across the Torah, it's very near you. Did you know that almost, I mean, buli hotel gyogendamu oba buli institution gyogendamu oba library gyogendamu tojja kubulwa kitabo kirimu bintu bino byekiri. So just teach yourself how to relate to God. Nga bwe walaba ka Jerry Mouse bwe kaakwa institution yali ne kasoma at the very, very hardest time of his life, almost near death, he remembered to whistle, just to whistle. The word is very near you, it's in your mouth, it's in your heart. You don't need anyone to relate to okubuulira kiki ekyokola. Mwegendereze nnyo abantu abagamba nti nze Mukama yayogedde kino, n'ayogera n'andaga nti gwe kasita onoosiga ensigo mu baasa eya white yellow. Again, alina ekigambo kyagenda okuwa eky'amaanyi, naye gwe just siga busizi nsigo, just sow that seed and I'll give you the word. No. Just the word is in your mouth. The word is with you. Your country needs you. Your country needs to commitment. It needs your dedication. It needs to pray. Do not give up. Do not think that tusabye ekimala Katonda tuvuddemu atuabandoni nze. No. God needs times. God takes away his favor for a time. Osobola okubaako kyoyiga nga dog culture bwe yajja n'ajjawo Spike. Jerry realizing how much he really needs Spike. Singa dog culture teyajja, Jerry, in fact, ne Tom, n'abalabe ba Jerry bennyini, Tom, that's when they realized that actually we need this big guy to come and live with us. We cannot afford to live without him. Now they became Team Spike and then started running after him. to try to bring them back, to bring him back. Okay, now, how many times, this is a question to you, my dear listeners. Mirundi emeka gy'obadde n'emikwano nga balinga Spike. Nakusuubiza nti, nze bw'olu kizibu just nkubira bukubizi ssimu. Tewali buzibu, tewali mutawaana. Nze gwe just kuba bukubizi. Diba teriwa busa n'ofuna ekizibu. N'okuba essimu n'agamba, kale singa wakubye eggulo. Walibadde wakubye eggulo naawe. Kubanga eggulo nabadde ssente zo nabadde nazo. Naye kale kati okubye leero. Netofaayo kati mpaamu ennaku nga 2-3. 2-3 days essimu n'agijjako. Kakati after 1 week naga nti essimu yalamu neyiwa software ne biyiika. Kakati we've all been there. Nti osobola okwesiga omuntu naye n'akuletinga down at the last minute. Ate no osobola okwesiga omuntu nga takuletinze down naye nga naye afunye circumstances ezimukutte kati nga bw'olaba what happened to Spike n'ennaku nga Dokasha bamututte. So you can see the balance, but there's only one guy who will never let you down, who will not give you an excuse, who will always be available, and that is your God. He will turn possible situations into possibilities. He will turn your stumbling blocks into stepping stones. He will turn your tears into joy, your ashes into beauty. He will turn even the worst of situations into singing. The word of God says that morning may come at night, rejoicing in the night. So remember this. You are not alone. In the corner right there, Spike is standing by to help you. It doesn't matter which situation. Just remember, you don't have to know anything about the Bible or about Deuteronomy or about the Torah. You don't have to. Just one word or just 2 words from there, which is vehicle. So let's see what happened as we conclude, as we close this subject. Thank you so much for bearing with me, for enduring all this. The door open. The word of God says in Psalms that call upon me and I'll hear you. So I will leave you with these 2 scriptures. Remember Surah Yunus 10, Jembagambye, you can read all of it. If you're not there, you can to Deuteronomy and Psalms 50. You call upon God, He will deliver you. That psalm is very, very important. God is real. He has not left you or forsaken you. Mpulira ku social media abantu bangi nga bagamba nti God has really abandoned us. We went through quite a lot. And I remember nti God gave you your own country and He's willing to fix your own country. You just have to pray and to stay praying. Remember last time I was with you guys in Nabagamba nti begin to verbalize, begin to say things about your country that will make God believe in you. Mutandiko kwogera, turn your eyes to what you want your country to be. Start speaking to God how you want your country to be the pearl of Africa, how you want your country to be beautiful, how you want your country to be full of joy, how you want your country to rise and shine again. Just keep promising God that God, this is what we want about our country. This is what I want about my life. Start speaking positive things about you. Stop calling in stop calling in failure. Stop calling in misery. Stop calling in like disasters. Just call in faith. Call in God. Call in hope. Call in anything you know is going to be all right. Lwe luli oluyimba lwe walabye abakoleya nga bayimba olugamba nti everything's going to be all right. Mambo sawa sawa, everything is gonna be all right. So nalwo background gwe tuwulira kati era nalwo lugamba ekintu kyekimu nti everything is gonna be all right. So I'm gonna end it here right now, unless if I have one or two callers who would want to, to say hello. I'm not gonna stretch it much more than where we just. Thank you so much for working with me this day. I hope you guys have been entertained and did it at the same time. Stay with UNN. Don't give up on your faith for your country. The word is in your mouth. God is going to turn every stumbling block into a stepping stone for your life and for the life of your country. Shalom and God bless you. If there is one or two callers, I'm standing by to hear you guys, and we'll figure out a time when we can have an omnibus of questions, chats, and discussions about in-depth things on spiritual matters. God bless you. God bless Uganda.
som bor inom mig är mycket starkare än allt som jag möter här. Jag ser inte mer tillbaks nu. Jag sträcker mig mot allt det du har för mig. Jag vet att du som bor inom mig är mycket starkare